Okay, so you're in business to generate an income, right? And so therefore your website is just simply an extension of your business. It's just a channel through which you generate income. So you've got to be clear from the outset as to what is your website for? What do you want your website to do for you? Because there's so many different types of websites out there. So what is the purpose? But when it comes to a business, when it comes to attracting clients and generating revenue, everything on your website has to be focused and geared towards that, making revenue. Okay. Hi, I'm Tim Cooper, and in this presentation, I'm going to show you how to create websites that captivate, engage, and convert. Very, very important stuff. Okay. So before we begin, you might say, why should I be listening to you, Tim? What do you know about websites? Well, I actually started an IT career back in the mid-80s, in 84, 85, before the PC computer was even invented. So I was working in IT back in the days of mini computers and mainframes and that sort of stuff. Okay, I was working as a business analyst, so I've got a very, very strong understanding of business. And then when the PCs came out, I used that skill to actually design software, because when the PCs came out, there wasn't all the options for software that we have today. So software had to be specifically developed and it had to be designed. So that's what I did in the late 90s. When the internet became popular, I started to hand code websites right back in the early 2000s. Okay, so before all these drag and drop platforms existed, I was creating websites one letter at a time, typing them out either in HTML or other coding languages. So I understand the tech side of things very well. I've been involved in tech, as I said, since 1985. The other thing is that I'm also a wellness practitioner. Okay, I'm a qualified massage therapist. I've studied herbalism, aromatic medicine, that sort of stuff. So, and I've worked in elite sport, but also in private practice as a therapist. So I understand the industry very well. And lastly, I've got a very solid understanding of marketing. I started my studies into marketing back in 2015 when my own practice was struggling, and I started to apply what I learned to turn my struggling business around. And since then, I've gone on to, I've never stopped learning marketing. I love it. It's probably one of the biggest focuses of my self-development. I'm learning something new every day when it comes to marketing. So that's why you should maybe listen to me, because I said I've been developing websites for a long time. I understand marketing and I understand this industry. And because of my contacts and who I deal with, and because of my mentors, I also know what is current. So what a website looked like 10 years ago is totally different to what a website looks like today. And that's got to do with a lot of things like technology, internet speed, and memory. Like it just goes to, everything is sort of revolving around what's available. So what I'm going to cover in today's session is we're going to talk about, firstly, what you should consider even before you get a website. And then we're going to talk about the must-haves, okay, what your website must be doing. And that might be on a more technical level, but it's something that you should really understand and be solid with. And then we're going to talk about what should go onto your web page and the flow and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so hang around. Now, at the end, I'm going to be giving you some freebies and some opportunities for me to help you further if you need help in this area. Now, I do have some notes over here on another computer. So if you see me sort of glancing across here, it's because I don't want to miss out anything important. Sometimes we can, as we start to talk, we can disappear down rabbit holes and get off track. So I've got my notes over here. So I'm just going to glance ever so occasionally across to my notes, make sure, firstly, I'm still on track, and secondly, that I'm not missing out any important information, okay? So the first thing that you've got to understand is, do you really need a website? Okay, that's the first big question. And the answer is yes and no. The point is that if somebody refers you or they hear about you from somewhere, generally the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go onto the web and search for you. And if they can't find any trace of you, they're going to be quite suspicious. They're going to think there's something wrong. They're going to smell a rat. So you have to have some sort of web presence. But you can do that quite simply just by setting up a Google business listing or even a Facebook page. Okay, so you can get a web presence without having a web page. And the other thing to consider is that a poorly designed and a poorly put together page can actually hurt your business. So generally speaking, you wouldn't start to put a web page together until you were very, very clear in your business and the direction and your demographic and everything that we're going to talk about in this presentation. Okay, so that's the short answer, is yes and no. Right? A website can do great things for your business, and especially when you want to start running ads, paid ads, like Google ads or through Facebook or whatever, or even through your Google business listing for local business. You should really then have a website for people to land on to come through and book with you. Okay, so there are a couple of other things to consider. When it comes to building your website, you've basically got three options. You can get somebody to do the whole thing for you, and that can run into a lot of money. Like generally speaking, I see websites ranging from say $5,000 to $20,000 or more. Now, obviously the $20,000 websites, they're pretty detailed, and lots of pages, payment options, e-commerce, all sorts of stuff, right? Really, really technical sites, okay? But I see people charging $5,000 for what I would consider to be a very, very simple site. So you can spend a lot of money getting somebody else to develop something for you, not being guaranteed that you're even going to get something that you actually like. And the other thing too is that web designers aren't marketers. So just because they can design a website doesn't necessarily mean they know what words to put on that page. It doesn't necessarily mean that they know how to get that conversion coming through from visitor to client to patient. Okay, you can do it yourself. These days, there are so many plug and play platforms, WordPress, ClickFunnels, lead pages, like the list goes on and on and on. But if it's not your forte to design and lay things out well, it can look like a bit of a mess. It can look a bit of a school project. You can just not have that professional edge, and then that can reflect badly on your business. So you've got to be careful in that regard, because your site should always reflect you in the highest professional light possible. And the third way is to sort of blend it. Have somebody sort of help you with the technical stuff, get it up off the ground, so work with you there, and then hand over to you. I always believe that you should really have control of your own website. You should never be held to ransom to a developer. Just you might want to change a word here or there, and you don't want to have to keep on contacting a developer to say, can you just change this, and then they get around to it when they get around to it, and they then charge you a lot of money. So I believe that you should always own your website. Okay, so those are the three things to consider. And my recommendation is number 3, have a blend. Have somebody help you get off the ground to make sure that you're on the right platform for your business, that the design work and the back end and everything else is set up properly. And then you should be able to learn enough to just maintain it yourself. And as I said, there's plenty of platforms out there. I will talk about my preferred platform shortly, and then I'll also give you an opportunity to get a free trial of that, but that will come a bit later. So, okay, before I go on, I just want to mention one other thing. It's one thing to bring a designer in, a graphic designer. They can sort out these wonderful layouts. But once again, designers are more concerned about the way things look, not at the way they perform. So it's more appearance versus performance. And as you're going to learn in a minute, that can really hurt you as well. So just because it's pretty doesn't necessarily mean it's going to convert, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make money for you. So by all means, look at, if you've got a friend or somebody who can help you with the design work, a bit of design, a little bit of flair is great, but not too much. And once again, you can't sacrifice performance for appearance. And we'll talk about that again shortly. So let's talk now about 3 things that your website must be on a technical level, okay? It must be responsive. And when we say a website must be responsive, it means that it must display well on all types of devices. So not just designed to look good on a desktop, it's got to look good and be easy to use on mobile devices like phones and tablets as well. And as we're starting to see now, the searches on mobile devices are equaling or even outranking the searches that are done on PCs. So it's more important than ever to ensure that your site looks good on a mobile. There's so many different things to consider now with mobile devices. It's firstly that, you know, mobile devices, they don't have mice and that sort of stuff. So it's got to be easy to navigate with, you know, scrolling with fingers and that sort of stuff. The buttons have to be big enough for touch screen work, but not so big that they're taking up the whole screen. You've got to sort of rearrange your site to use the real estate on the small screen just as well as you would use the real estate on a large screen. And there are ways to do that these days with platforms. We can actually set things to look bigger or different on a desktop and only include, like you might only include certain graphics on a desktop because they don't look good on a mobile. And I'll discuss that a little bit further when we start looking behind the scenes. But the important thing for this part of the presentation about responsiveness is that Google is going to penalize you if your website isn't responsive. Okay, it's really, really encouraging user experience, and it recognizes that the majority of users these days are on their phones or tablets or some sort of mobile device. And so if your website does not look good or is not responsive, then you're in trouble, okay? And I'll talk more about that further down the line. Now, once again, this probably isn't so much, if you're not into tech, if you're not into design, it's not so much a lesson on how to make something responsive, but as a business owner and somebody may be spending money and paying somebody to develop a site for you, it's something that you must be very much aware of, that, you know, your site has to look good. People have got to be able to navigate it, so they've got to find their way around. It's got to be easy to use on any device. Okay. The other thing too that it should have, this isn't it isn't a must, but it should have a security certificate. So the HTTPS, because what's happening now is when you're going to sites on Google, if it's just a HTTP, it's going to come up beside it saying not secure. Now, if you're not asking people for their personal information or whatever, it's probably not such a big deal. But I can see a trend moving into the future that Google and other search engines are going to start to insist that all sites have security certificates. It's not a lot of money. So security certificates cost just a handful of dollars. And it's great peace of mind for people who are visiting your site, because now they know that all the data that's going back and forth is encrypted, and nobody can steal their information, their identity, and that sort of stuff. But at this time, it's not a necessity, but it just doesn't look that good coming up in the, you know, in the taskbar, like in the URL bar, saying not secure. Okay. The other thing too is that it must be fast. It must load quickly, and this is where we come back to that designer versus not designer, graphics versus not graphics. I was working with a fantastic and amazing graphic designer, and he gave me this image he wanted me to put on this website, and it was massive. And I said, I can't use this image. I mean, it's just so huge. Like even dimension wise, like you could probably wallpaper a wall with it. It was just so big. And I think it's about 20 megabytes. It would have taken 5 minutes to download. So I sent it back to him and said, you've got to rework this. Now he sent back exactly the same image, but it was a much smaller, it was a low resolution, and it was a handful of bytes. So basically it loaded immediately. The point is, if people have got to wait around for your website to load, they'll disappear. And also, once again, Google may not penalize you for having a slow website, but it's definitely going to reward the sites that load faster. So it's once again very important to make sure that your website loads quickly. The other thing too is like when you're looking at your mobile devices, your responsive websites, You don't want people to have to download megabytes and megabytes and megabytes of graphics and that sort of stuff onto a device using their mobile data. They'll just flick off really, really quickly. Nobody likes that. So from a technical side, those are the must-haves. Now, whether you do that yourself or have that done by a developer as the owner of the site, those are the things that you've got to be very much aware of. So now we've got past that, let's look into what your site must do. As I said, your site is an extension of your business. So ideally what your site has to do is it has to grab attention, engage the person, and then convert them, convince them that you have got the solution to their problems, that no, you are the one they've got to come and see. That is what the job of your website is, okay? Now, you don't have to put a lot on your website to do that. And when it comes to speed, and saying like, putting all these bells and whistles and flashing lights and social media buttons and all these other things, that every single thing, you've got to understand that every single thing that you add to a site slows that site down. So you've got to look at it saying, is this thing that I want to put on my website, does this relate directly to generating revenue, or does it relate directly to one of those steps to either captivate, engage, or convert? And if it doesn't, throw it out. I mean, people are in a hurry, and we're going to talk about it in a minute, but people are in a hurry. They don't have time for things to load, and quite frankly, they can get a little bit over all the whiz bang, worry, flashing stuff and bells and whistles and that sort of stuff, okay? Be as simple and clean as possible in your web design, and you will do very, very well. The point is that you have got 3 seconds. 3 seconds. As soon as they open that website, 3 seconds to let them know what it is, who's it for, and how can they get it. And I'll show you some examples of that soon. 3 seconds. It's funny. We used to joke about goldfish only having an attention span or a memory of 8 seconds. And in a recent survey, I think Microsoft did the survey, they found out that humans now have an attention span of 7 seconds. So actually the goldfish are now laughing at us because they've got 1 second to remember that, they've got 1 second more memory. Okay. People just are in too much of a hurry. They don't want to wait around. We live in an instant gratification society. 3 seconds, okay? You've got 3 seconds to captivate them, stop them in their tracks, let them know that what you've got is what they need, and then hopefully you're going to hold them there and they will move on. If you don't, they will just leave your site very quickly, and that is going to hurt you. That is going to hurt you in the Google search results, because Google is watching everything. And something is called a bounce, which means that if somebody hits your site and goes straight off your site, doesn't follow a link on your site or doesn't go to another page in your site, it's called a bounce. And the higher that value is, the worse your page appears as being relevant to Google. All right, so if somebody types something into a search result and Google puts your page up on the search results, and somebody goes to that and bounces straight off, Google says, well, that must not have been relevant, and there's a black mark against your name. So you've got to be very, very aware of that. And a lot of the times it's not so much the things you put on your website, it's the actual words you use. And in fact, I say it's probably 95%. You can just have a black and white website with no images on it at all. As long as the words are meaningful and resonate with the people, that's going to get you some results. Excuse me. Okay. So in those 3 seconds, they're going to form an opinion of you and your business and how professional you are and whether you can help them. Okay. So you've got to make it crystal clear. So through your headlines and your text and your placement, people have got to see at a glance that what you are offering is what they need. Okay. You've got to put the spotlight on your front page. You've really got to put the spotlight onto the prospective client. I see a lot of the mistakes that businesses make is they make themselves out to be the hero. Look at us. We've been here for 30 years. We're the greatest. Nobody cares, right? If you're buying Like if somebody's out to get a massage, if they've got a sore back, nobody cares about the business. Nobody cares about the techniques. They just care whether you can actually take their pain away, okay? And a lot of times, the businesses make themselves the hero. Look at me. I'm so great. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this, right? The point is that if you look at any story, there can only be one hero. There can't be two heroes. And as far as the client is concerned, they're the hero. It's their problem. It's their life. It's their journey. Okay, like we talk about movies and we talk about the hero's journey. So if you've got the business presenting themselves as the hero and the client believing they're the hero, there's a clash, and the client will just leave because, it's not congruent. Okay, there's a disconnect. I'm not saying that you can't talk about yourself on the front page, or you can't talk about yourself on your website, but you've got to talk about yourself in relation to the client and how you can help the client. Okay, and the spotlight is on the client, not on you. So you put the client in the spotlight, and you put the client's problem in the spotlight, and you say how you can help the client. They are the hero. You are the guide. Okay, you are the Yoda. They are Luke Skywalker. That's the way you're going to design your site. So, with that being said, you're going to be moving on. You've got to make it as easy as possible for the prospect to contact you and move through your site, or to get the result. I see that's the other problem I see a lot of businesses do, is that they want to do things on their terms. Okay. If you make a client work too hard, if you make a client jump through hoops, if you make a client think, they're going to move on. All right. You are there to serve the client. You've got to make it as easy as you can for the client to hook onto your service. Okay. And if you make it too hard, you've just got to meet them where they're at. You've got to be willing to maybe communicate on platforms that you don't like. I've got one client who just simply will not reply to inquiries that come through on Facebook. Just will not reply. And I'm instructed to reply on this business behalf and tell them to send an email. That is not good business. That is not meeting people where they're at. That's not matching them and communicating on the platforms and in a way that they like. Okay, it just goes to show that the business is too rigid. It's not willing to bend and flex and to meet the client's needs, and the client will go somewhere else. So that's so important as well. Okay, you've got to look at the way people think and the three parts of the brain. And the brain is a cognitive miser because it takes calories to think, and we want to conserve calories. So if we're forced to think, it's just going to be too hard, right? The other thing too is that you're going to understand is that even though you think that even though you are relating your message on a logical level, so you've thought about it all up here, right, in the logical part of your brain, and when you're relating that message, you think that that's sitting the logical part of the receiver's brain, but it's not. It goes through a process, and it first starts in the croc brain, in the reptilian brain. And firstly, they're trying to work out three things, whether they should kill you, eat you, or mate with you. Okay, are you a danger? That's what they're working out. So they're working your message through a totally different part of the brain than you created it in. Okay, and then the other thing is that croc brain, it likes novel things. Like if you are presenting your message the same as everybody else, if you are just regurgitating the message that other people have been doing all over the time, the croc brain's going to go, oh yeah, heard this before, nothing new, doesn't work, and it's going to flick it. It's going to discard it. Okay? You wonder why if you get frustrated saying, why aren't people listening to me? Why is people just discarding and not worrying about what I'm saying? It's because you're not hitting the right part of the brain. So you've got to present something new and exciting. They want a dopamine fix, and a dopamine fix will come with the expectation of reward. Not just with reward, but with the expectation of reward. So if you put something new in front of them, something novel, that's going to get the attention, and that's going to feed up to the the logical part of the brain. The point is that, we're bombarded with over 5,000 marketing messages a day. The reason why your head doesn't explode is because it's being filtered, right? If you're not getting through, it's because your message is being filtered. So the way to stop filtering is to present in a new way and to show them that you are of value to them. And there is going to be some reward if they look further. Okay, so moving on, let's have a look now. We've spoken about the technical side. We've spoken about like the marketing theory. I just want to sort of jump across now and just show you some sample sites. And now I'm not going to anybody's website and critiquing. We're not going to sort of name and shame anybody here, but we'll see. So hopefully now you're seeing my screen. Okay. So first I want to show you, this is inside a software builder called ClickFunnels, and I do all of my web development now in ClickFunnels with the exclusion of blog sites. So if I'm running a blog, I'll still use WordPress for a blog because WordPress, that's what WordPress was originally built for, and that's what WordPress is still best at. But for all my other stuff, I use ClickFunnels. Even this summit is automated, and every single page on this summit is built in ClickFunnels. Okay, so I just want to talk to you about the responsiveness and real estate. So basically, I can see that this is what this page will look like on a desktop device. Okay, a nice full background picture with some text. If I want to see what it's going to look like on a mobile device, I can click up here, and it will just sort of show what it's going to look like. Now, as you can see, that background image is just cut off. It's not shrunk down, so we're not seeing the whole image. We're not seeing the whole image of the happy, smiling woman. It's disappeared. And that's one thing you should understand about responsive websites is that when you've got a full graphic background, it's just going to cut it off. It's not going to resize it. And then you can sort of come down and see what it would look like on a mobile device. Now, as you can see, I've taken no time to ensure this looks good on a mobile device. It actually looks quite horrible. But there are things that we can do. This is not going to be a tutorial on how to create websites, okay? But there are things that we can do to ensure that the site looks great on a mobile device as well as on a desktop. We can make, as I said, we can size things specifically for each device. All right. The thing is, too, when it comes to menus, there's no menus on this, but you see these hamburger menus, like the 3 lines. That's what usually happens when there's navigation. So your menu will sort of shrink down to those 3 lines, which then you can click on, open up. You've all seen them, okay? But that's just a consideration for responsive websites. Now let's look at a couple of options, and I'm going to actually show you my own websites from back in the day when I was in private practice. I'm not hiding anything. I'm being totally transparent. I could have gone through these and reworked all the copy and that sort of stuff, because these were developed in 2015, 2016. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot since then. Okay, but let's have a look. So this would be the landing page. Somebody types in Tim Cooper remedialmassage.com, whatever. Don't even bother doing it. I closed my private practice. It doesn't exist anymore. But as you can see, there are a couple of things you've got to look at. This top right-hand corner is your prime real estate. You put what you want them to do in big bold there. Okay, that's where you want them. That's what you want them to do. That's where you want them to go. Now, in my case, as you can see, I've got a book online button here, and it's not up here, right? Now, if I was getting a lot of people wanting to book online, and the majority of my bookings were coming through an online service, I would move my book online up to here. Okay, the point is that my demographic were elderly ladies. They weren't on Facebook. They didn't want to book online. They wanted to get their diary out, like a real physical diary. They go thud. They wanted to talk to a human. They wouldn't even leave a message on an answering machine. Okay. Video business cards. Last summit, we had Kevin Anson talk about how to create a video business card. Obviously, I created this. I actually created this video business card about a month or two before I retired, and it generated some good business for me. It was put together in a specific way. It was put together so it would optimize SEO and that sort of stuff. As I said, you can talk about yourself. Here I said I have personally experienced, but at the end of the day, if you count up the I's and me's versus the you and yours, you'll find that I'm talking more to the client, to the prospect, than I am about myself. So at a glance, in 30 seconds, we know that I'm in the business of managing pain and injury naturally. Okay. We know that I'm going to get you back to the things that you love to do. So when you say, what is it? Well, it's pain and injury management. Who's it for? People who are suffering pain and injury who want to get back to the things they love. So it's very, very quick, right? And then how can I get it? Which is the third question. You can call this number or you can book online. And everything is above the fold. So when we talk about things being above the fold, that goes back to the old newspaper days when the newspaper folded in half. And so you only saw the top half of the front page. And so it was sitting on the newsstand. And so basically what was going to draw you in and make you buy that particular newspaper, the really juicy stuff, the really interesting stuff was above the fold. And so when we talk about, in computer terms, above the fold, that's what we mean, that you see it before you need to scroll. Okay. Right. So now looking at that, there are a couple of things that I would do differently. So as I said, I am going to critique my own site. I don't have a lot of options on here, and all options, once again, are related to making money. Okay. So that's one thing. Please, please, please. You spend so much time and maybe money bringing people to your website. Don't put all these links and bits and pieces all over the place and just to have them click away, right? You want them to stay on your site. You want them to stay on your site for so many reasons. Firstly, you don't want them to bounce straight off because that's going to make you look bad to Google. You want them to click other links that are going to take them within your site, so internal links which are going to take them within your site so that they're staying on your site longer, which Google really, really likes. Okay. So yeah, keep your site simple and clean. I wouldn't these days, if I had my own site, I wouldn't put this particular box here. I wouldn't put anything to do with social media on this page at all. I'd probably still keep these little social share buttons down the bottom, but once again, they're a secondary thing. It's not a major thing. Once again, the major stuff that I want them to do is to call and book. That's the biggest thing I want them to do, and that's why it's sitting up there in that right-hand corner, big and bold, right? And then down here, some very easy navigation. Once again, don't make your clients jump through hoops. Make it easy for them to find out information about you. A lot of clients want to know about you, how to book and that sort of stuff. So anything there, make it very, very easy, okay? So basically, here's about a little bit more about me and then how they can find out more about me, how they can book, and then some articles. So this will go across to a separate blog site. Once again, it doesn't exist, so don't even bother clicking on the link. But once again, that had specific articles which were helping with SEO. My business name and address and phone number here, that's just not typed in. That's actually what we call in markup. So that's actually put in a certain code. It also includes longitude and latitude, my location, that sort of stuff. Makes it easy for Google. So this is really boosting me in the Google local search, right? Always make sure that your business name, address, and phone number is the same everywhere. Otherwise, Google just a robot, so it can't work out with it. You know, if you have a slight change here and there, it can't work out whether it's you or somebody else with a similar business. Okay, so that's the front page, very, very clean. Okay, from there, if they want to know more about me, they can. If not, they don't. Now, once again, just before I left private practice, I started following who's actually a chiropractor. He's based in Boise in the States. And he was, and this is where the story came from, that he was a chiropractor in Boise. There's basically a chiropractor on every corner. He was really having struggles standing out, struggling to attract the clients. And so what he did was he actually created this video business card type thing. This is what gave me the idea. And he spoke about his, why he did what he did. So yes, he spoke about what he did, but he also spoke about his why he went into chiropractic, his personal reasons and that sort of stuff. And it really resonated with people. And he put it on the front page of his website, and his business just went through the roof. Crazy stuff. And I said, I found that myself, that I said, I put this up just before retirement, but people would ring the clinic and say, I saw your video and I believe you're the one who can help me. So powerful. But what I did, I went to his website at the time and looked at the way he had his website laid out, because he was running, I believe, a 6-figure business or whatever. And so then I modeled. So I changed what I had on my website, and this is what I changed my website to. Once again, as you can see, the main call to action here is up in the top right. That never changes. That's what I wanted to do. Now, people will say, don't put an image of your building on your front page of your website unless you're in real estate. But this guy had an image of his building. So basically what I did is I just basically modeled. I didn't copy, but I modeled. So this is an image of where I worked. And then I call myself Burley Head's #1 clinical massage specialist. So once again, seeing very, very clearly, very, very quickly, what they need to do. Here we've got a button. Everything once again above the fold. Here's the same video business card. So basically the copy is the same. It's just laid out a little bit differently, talking about what I do. And also here I'm also answering some objections, answering some questions. Is it going to hurt? Will it work for me? And all that sorts of stuff. And then once again, some links to some testimonials. Now, once again, if I was doing this differently these days, I would probably just list some selected testimonials here without them having to click away. Once again, the name and address and phone number is in markup language. So it's just a very simple little file that we embed. And so that was my second. So that's what my website looked like at the time of my retirement. But as you can see, this up the top, big. Okay, so what is it? It's remedial massage for pain and injury management. And who's it for? Well, probably not really here in this video. We're probably talking about who's it for, but that's probably not as clear in this one. It didn't hurt though, because it's probably who's it for is for people who are suffering from pain or they're injured. And then how can I get it? They call this number. You notice on this one here, I've actually dropped the book online button, because I found I had a book online button for 18 months and one person used it. It wasn't my demographic. You've got to meet your clients where they're at. So what about some of the other pages? This is the contact us page. So what we do is we put a picture of the building from a distance so people can see it. They can recognize it. Oh yeah, I'm in the right place. They can see the parking. So there's on-road and off-road parking. The map is actually embedded from Google Maps. So it hooks in with my reviews. They can read the reviews, all this sort of stuff. So I haven't just taken any old map. I've actually embedded the Google Map code into my page. That also helps my local SEO ranking, because Google recognizes that and says, yes, this is the location, this is it, this is the business, and up we go, right? So that's the context. Now the about page. Now these days I would do the about page differently, because they say in marketing it's all about your clients, all about your client. Well, yes and no. I mean, your client also needs to know about you. Like I'd like to know something about the person who's going to treat me, or their background or their experience or their successes and that sort of stuff before I go and see them. And so you've got to provide this. But as I said, like for this, for a website about massage, I'm not going to talk about 30 years of computer experience. So I'm going to keep my about me page relative to the client. So and throughout my about page, I'm going to talk about and address some frequently asked questions and some concerns and that sort of stuff. And there's different layouts that you can do for this, but it's important that you do talk about yourself in relation to the client, answer the client's questions, and phrase things in a way that is, this is about me and this is how it's going to benefit you. So always, at the end of the day, always look at the benefit to the client. All right, always look at the benefit to the client, because that's all they care about. It's what's in it for them. What's in it for them. You'll see through all of these pages that I don't mention anything about the techniques I use. So I don't talk technobabble or industry speak. I don't talk about techniques and this and that. I don't talk about how I go about doing things, right? Because if I'm talking about techniques like dry needling and myofascial release and mobilization and all those sort of things, I'm talking to other therapists. I'm not talking to Joe Blow off the street who has no idea that what I do can actually help your sciatica. I've got to tell Joe Blow off the street, I can help your sciatica. And he doesn't care whether I'm using mobilization, dry needling, or myofascial release. He just wants to know that I can help him. That's what your website has to do. And this is probably one of the biggest things. If I could Google massage or acupuncture or anything else, and I could go to all these sites, and the first thing I see on the front page is a menu of all the techniques they use, right? And all they're doing is they're talking to other therapists, other practitioners, people who know, right? People don't care about that. They only care about what's in it for me. Like even on the front page, if you come back to these front pages, right? The only thing you know, it's massage. I've got Tim Cooper massage here, and down here I call myself a clinical massage specialist, right? I don't go into all different techniques and how I apply them, that sort of stuff, because people don't care. They just want to know that I can look after their pain and injury. That's what they want to know about. They want to know that I'm going to listen and work with them, that I'm going to understand them, I'm going to work within their pain levels, I'm going to work towards a solution. That's what I want to know about, and that's what I talk about on the website. Okay. It's about getting your message right. It's about getting in the head. It's about getting in the head of your clients, going into that conversation they already have. What's keeping them up at night? And then you're going to answer those questions. Even on this one, right? Okay, up here, Burley Head's #1 clinical massage specialist, remedial massage. But once again, we're not talking about any of the stuff here, right? Okay. Then we give them the option to leave a review. This is, once again, we want to make things easy as possible. Reviews are so important. So what I would do, I had this, leave us a review, and then I have these 3 review sites. And depending on which site I wanted the reviews for, I just changed the order of these down the bottom. I could just sort of slide them around and put the first one first, because people will usually go from left to right. So if I wanted more Google reviews, I'd put Google first. If I wanted more White Coat, Facebook, etc. Okay. There's a methodology I went about getting reviews. I'm not going to go into that now, but once again, that's it. So basically, those are the major pages. There would be another page you could put on there about your treatments. I didn't do that because I really didn't have a menu. I basically just did one thing, and that was look after pain and injury. Right? I was a specialist. I wasn't a generalist. Okay, so when people came to me, they came to me specifically for the style of treatment that I did, and it was basically half an hour, 45 minutes, or a 1 hour treatment. There wasn't any. I didn't have a menu of different styles. Okay, but if you did, then you could also put your treatments on there and let them know what they could choose from, how much, and that sort of stuff. All right. And that's basically what your website should be. The other thing that you should really sort of look at doing is, if possible, try to capture the client's or the prospect's email address, because as we know, we don't always buy at first visit, right? So if I'm searching around looking for something, I'll bounce around a few different websites, and then I'll think about it, then I'll come back, and I might even forget. How many times have you sort of seen a really good deal and then you've forgotten where you saw it? So there are a few ways as health professionals that we can actually do to capture email addresses. Now, once we've got the email addresses, see, there's 3 types of traffic. Okay, there's traffic that you get for free. And that's traffic that you get through SEO and organically, and that's traffic that comes through your Google, My Business listing, like stuff that you work hard for, like your SEO from your blog posts, from your websites, that sort of stuff. So that's the free traffic. And there's traffic that you pay for, so your Facebook ads, your Google ads, all that sort of stuff, and ads in other places that you actually pay money for. And then there's traffic that you own. And the traffic that you own is your list, your subscriber list, your client list, your patient list. That's traffic that you own. You know, Facebook and Google and all those other places can go away tomorrow. They can change the rules and do all sorts of stuff, but that's never going to affect the traffic that you own. And the point is that once you've got their email address, you don't have to pay for that traffic anymore, right? You've got it, and now you can market to that person as many times as possible. You can send them information about specials. You can send them useful information, like if you know that lots of clients have a particular issue or have a problem with something, you can provide useful information, guidance, help, and stay in regular contact with them without spamming them, without hitting their systems with rubbish. But it is the way, like every business, it doesn't matter whether you're a massage therapist, acupuncturist, it doesn't matter what sort of business you're in, you should always be trying to secure email addresses. So here's some ways that you can think about it. Say you're in a spa, okay, you're a relaxation therapist. A way to actually bring people into your business. So instead, what they could do now, you could run this through a Facebook ad, through a Google ad, or basically you could have this as the front page of your website. So when people search, the first page they hit is this before they actually go to your main page. And this is like an incentive. So here we're saying, claim your free Calm the Kids and Soothe the Nerves kit. Tone down the tantrums, turn down the volume and dial up the good vibes, better mood, less stress, better sleep, win, win, win. Right? Limited stock, secure your free kit today. And this kit is valued at $69.95. Just enter your name, email below, and we'll set a kit aside for you, but it's only good for 7 days. And now we've got asking for first name, email address, and phone number. I think it's a good time these days to ask for phone number because you can also send out texts directly from the computer and that sort of stuff. And basically what this kit is, it's a relaxation CD, an aromatherapy diffuser, and a bottle of lavender oil or something. Now, you could probably put that together for $10 or something, right? But you can say that retail, yes, it's $69.95 value. Now, you notice I'm being very specific. I haven't said $70. I've been very specific at $69.95, right? You put your T and C's on there saying that it's available only while stocks last, new clients only, 1 kit per client, and not redeemable for cash, right? So they put that in. Now they haven't got it, right? You set it aside, right? You set it aside because then what's going to happen is they're going to get to the next page and it's going to go, congratulations, it's been set aside. So what you're going to do now is that they've got to actually they've actually got to book with you, right? They've actually got to ring up and make a booking with you in the next 7 days. Otherwise, you're going to give their kit to somebody else. This is value adding. This is not, so here you're not giving at a discount to bring somebody in. Here you're giving something at a perceived value. So you can still charge $60, $70, $80, $100 for your treatment, and they believe they're getting a gift worth $70. And I said that might have cost you $10, $15, right? So yes, there is an outlay for you. But the point is that now you're not getting a bargain hunter. You're getting somebody, you're giving value. They believe they're getting massive value. It's a much nicer way to do it, okay? So that's for a spa type thing. The other thing too is notice that we make it very clear about the next steps, okay? We don't assume that people will automatically know what's going on. But here's the other thing too, before we go, right? Before you go, how would you like a second bottle of essential oil, right? If you want the second bottle of essential oil, pick up the phone right now and make your booking. So before you even leave this page, pick up and book now. So here is the urgency and scarcity saying, look, you've got 7 days to make a booking, but if you want us to double up on the oil, book right now, and we'll put a second bottle of oil away for you, okay? By saying the kit isn't theirs unless they come in for the booking, right? And then this button down here will then just take them straight through to the page, right? Straight through to your, to your page. Now this is okay. So now, say you work more in a remedial sense, like in an orthopedic, in a medical massage capacity. Here's another thing you can give away. Claim your free Active Bodies home maintenance kit. Keep yourself and your wallet in shape, because the more you do at home, the less we have to do for you, right? And we all know that as massage therapists. Sometimes, compliance, people don't comply because they don't have the stuff to do. They don't have the equipment at home to do what they need to do for their, for the home maintenance, for their stuff at home. So you take that excuse away and say, here you're going to give away a water bottle, a stretch band, a spiky ball, and a foam roller. Same T&Cs, same thing. They come through the thank you page and saying, once again, great stuff. It's been set aside for you. It's only good for 7 days. Otherwise, we're going to give it to somebody else. And then, how would you like a gym bag? We want a gym bag. Once again, pick up the phone and call right now. Now, look, I just put these together as ideas, but can you see that these are just some concepts? If you don't want to have a kit, here's another one, right? ABC Wellness Business. Our friendly staff would like to offer you something really special. Just enter your name and email below and we'll send you a 10% discount voucher. I don't like the term discount voucher, but I put this together quickly. You could call us whatever you like. A 10% gift voucher or whatever you want to call it. They put their name and email address in, and then boom, on the next page, congratulations. It's on the way to your email box. But before you go, have you like an extra 5% off. So if they want 15% discount, get them on the phone. So basically what we're doing is we're giving them some urgency and some reason to pick up the phone and call you quickly. At the same time, you're building a list. So it's building your business, building your list. Okay. Another thing, that if you want to provide extra information, there's one thing that isn't on these pages, which I do these days, and this is the website being built for this summit. It's not even complete yet. And you see down the bottom here how we've got the little thing here, which is going to take you. Actually, I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to kill that. Anyway, we've got the little messenger box here so that people can message us. This is a way of the future. I'm doing another presentation for the summit called Chat Marketing, but this is the way of the future. You've got to put these chat things onto your websites. It's crazy, but it's crazy good. So here, once again, above the fold, what is it? It's a summit. Who's it for? It's for wellness professionals who want to grow and scale their business. And how they get it, they click the button, right? So once again, above the fold. Now below the fold, we can go into more information about what it is and who is it and that sort of stuff, okay? But everything they need to see is above the fold. Then they can scroll down if they're interested. Okay, so as you can see, it's not rocket science, and more importantly, it's not all the bells and whistles. And one thing, those sliders, like, you don't want distractions. You don't want your clients distracted and sort of shooting off in all different directions. And those sliders I see on all these websites, then people suddenly go, oh, hang on, what was that last photo? And then they're trying to click and work and go back. And no, just keep your websites as clean and simple as possible, and they will start to convert for you. But more importantly, it's the words. It's the words you use. You've got to resonate. When they hit that website, they've got to go, oh, that's what I've been looking for. That person can help me. That's exactly what I need. Okay? That's the message you've got to get. And then how do I get it? Oh, it's easy. I just hit this button or just call that number, right? So it's got to resonate with them. It's got to pull them in. They've got to believe that you are the one who can help them and make it easy for them to book. And that's the way you build a website, guys. Okay. I think sometimes we make it a lot harder than what it is. So just to recap, the important things is that, you've got to, you consider whether you're going to build your site yourself, get somebody else to build it, or get some help and then take over, which I recommend. That a poorly designed and a poorly performing website is going to hurt your business more than it helps. So make sure that by the time you come to building your website, you've got all these good things in place. And also understand that it's the words and that you've got 3 seconds to captivate, engage, and then to convert. Okay, but you've got that 3 seconds to captivate and engage. Then hopefully you'll hold them, take them through the process, they'll learn more about you and become a client. Now, as I said, you can, what I'm willing to do for you is in a link below, or you can go to gwpms.com/wellness funnels. That's gwpms.com/wellness funnels. And you can actually get this funnel that I've actually shown you. So all these pages, all these pre-built pages, you can get. And then basically within ClickFunnels, if you don't have a ClickFunnels account, it's okay. You'll have the option to set up a 14-day free trial so you can play with it. And basically in ClickFunnels, when it comes to these sites, it's just basically you just click and type. But I'm not going to go into all that stuff now. But what I am going to tell you, and this is my special offer for you for the summit, is that if you do take up the offer down below and get your free funnel, and you commit to a subscription with ClickFunnels, which is around about, I don't know, a little bit over $1,000 a year, I will actually help you. Like if you need help customizing the site up for your business, and I can show you how to maintain yourself. I'll do that for you for free, right? I'll do it for you free of charge, as long as you commit to the ClickFunnels account, right? Because I know this. ClickFunnels is so easy, and I know that once it's in your hands, you'll be able to make all the small changes. And as you become more proficient, you'll be able to build new pages and change stuff around and take total control of your business, which is really what you want. So that's my special offer for you. And as I said, I know there's people out there doing ClickFunnels funnels, and they don't even get out of bed for less than 5,000, right? I'm going to do it for you for free because I want to see you succeed. So that's my offer for you. If you just want to try out the ClickFunnels without getting this particular funnel, once again, link down below is gwpms.com/ClickFunnels, and you can sign up for a 14-day trial. Have a play, see if you like it. It's great. It's very, very easy. Okay, guys, I hope you learned a lot. And if you've got any questions at all, please, you can always email me at tim@gwpms.com, and I'll see you in the next one.